What's going on, everybody? Welcome. It is Brian Daniels, your host, to a brand new episode of A Bunch of Marks, and I am joined by A Bunch of Marks. Starting with my first mark, my lovely wife, Raven, over here.
Hi.
And we got over here Mr. Rocco Jerome. What's up, Rocco?
What's up, man?
Good. And I got my podcast tag team partner, Josh Thunder Shaver. How's it going, man? How you doing?
Yo.
Good, guys. So on this episode, we're going to talk about something in particular that we've not had a full-blown discussion on yet, which is women's wrestling. I still don't think that this gets talked up about enough. And even though the women's wrestling scene has vastly changed in the last 15 years.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to have a discussion about that. Actually, we're going to I was thinking we kind of compare what women's wrestling was maybe back then. I know Raven doesn't know a whole lot about that. And I'm going to tell you something right now, that's not entirely a bad thing.
I know. I've heard stories.
But, to me, women's wrestling, I remember the days of, Mae Young. I remember, maybe that's a bit too far back for me, but I remember a different Mae Young. That we're not going to talk about that Mae Young.
Mae Young during the Attitude Era you're talking about, or what do you mean?
Yeah, that. But let's talk about like Alundra Blaze. There we go.
Yeah.
Alundra Blaze. You got I guess more so for me would be like, I don't know, Trish Stratus, Lita, growing up in the Attitude Era. Chyna
was who I grew up.
Yeah. There wasn't a whole lot.
Yeah.
Of especially in like WWE or WWF back then. A lot of women wrestling that was, I don't know, they were called divas back then, which was such a derogatory term.
Yes, it was very it was sleazy is the best way to put it.
Yes.
Sort of a sideshow attraction.
Yeah.
For WWE at that time.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember back then, women's wrestling, especially if you were watching a pay-per-view, we always called it the bathroom break match. Because you had these people who like Stacy Keibler, you had Missy Hyatt, you had Chyna, was one of the more worthwhile ones to watch.
Absolutely.
You still had Lita in there. You still had, a handful, if you will.
Well, and Lita and Trish Stratus, and then to sort of a different degree, Chyna, because Chyna was sort of in a different category. It kind of
absolutely
the other two.
I would totally agree with that. Yeah.
I remember
Chyna like is sort of like an attraction, sort of the way that like Andre the Giant was at points in his career. Where, she was wrestling men, and that sort of thing, and it was like this.
I would say one of the more prominent ones in my memory, the one I can think of that goes far back, is Luna Vachon. That is a name that I know Raven has no idea who the hell that is.
Nope.
She was not just a wrestler; she was a manager. I believe she was with Van Vader back then.
Oh yeah, and she was pretty legit. I believe she had wrestled in Japan, if I'm not mistaken.
And her family, they have like a documentary about her family.
Right. Sure. Yeah. The thing about women's wrestling back then is that it was. I mean, it was just sort of almost like this thing that was just not taken seriously and was thought of as being like almost like a freak show kind of a thing when it was actual wrestling, when it was actually a well put together match. And it's interesting because Lita, of course, came out of the Mexican scene. I believe she had wrestled down there. I might be wrong about that.
I think so, yeah. Yeah, that sounds about right.
And then Trish Stratus was brought in, you might recall, as a manager for
Teston Albert.
Right. And like I don't know that she even knew what wrestling was all about when she was hired. Like she was there for something else. Yep. And her and Lita were very important because they were really driving force in the change to women's wrestling, at least in WWE, that would come from that. But there was a lot of women's wrestling before that.
You had talked about like we had talked about Glow, which
the original
Glow. I thought you were talking about the Netflix show, but Netflix was based on the
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is that Netflix show is kind of like the best and worst thing to happen to the original Glow.
Mm-hmm.
It made some people figure out about it, but it also made it so that people don't even they just assume it was a show.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
It's like when Michael Bay made that Transformers movie, and my nephew doesn't believe me that there was a cartoon when I was a kid.
Yeah, I mean, it just sort of
Yeah.
takes up that space in the popular
Well, I
lexicon.
mean, yeah, I can see that for sure because I remember that this was back when I was trying to get into wrestling and I just couldn't do it. But I did really like the show. I know I never finished it. I don't think Brian ever finished it either. But
Well, they didn't
I
finish
Yeah,
was
it.
they didn't
really
finish it.
The show itself actually went off before it was COVID
before it
ruined
was
it, and
finished.
then the woman
Okay,
who was the showrunner died. She was
Mm.
actually Mark Maron's girlfriend at the time.
Yeah.
but
What's
Go
that? I
ahead.
didn't know that.
but
Yeah.
I when we started watching it, I had absolutely no idea that it was based on like real women wrestlers.
Yeah,
I
and
just
it's
thought it was
it's
a
in a
TV
weird.
show
It's
about
actually
women
not
wrestling.
like literally based on anyone. That's what's kind of odd about
Yeah.
it. That it's
No, I know
not.
that.
It's
Yeah.
like Glow in concept. It's
Mm.
Right,
Mhm.
right.
there
It's not
was
based on
like an
actual people.
all-American girl, and there was like a mean Russian, and
Mm-hmm.
there were like
Yeah,
rather
it kind of hit
weird
the
women who
stereotype.
would slam each other around.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
it
Right.
like
But I didn't know that the whole like glow concept, I had no idea that that was
yeah, no,
real.
it was very
Oh
much a
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
The guy in the show
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
was the guy who was gay and was like the producer guy. The real guy in real life was a guy
Mm.
named David McLean, and it's very closely
Oh
based
yeah.
on, well, maybe not that closely, but like that's who that guy was. Like anybody who knew about the original Glow would have said, "Oh, that's the David McLean guy." But he was this sort of impresario for that stuff and a real driving force in what, to my knowledge, was the first ever like all women wrestling show. And they really
Yeah.
were getting like models and showgirls and sort of just people they found. Like there was a woman named Mount Fuji who I think they just kind of found someplace, and sprinkled in there were women who were actually already into being wrestlers.
Yeah.
Ivory, who was always pretty legit, I felt, was Tina Ferrari on the old Glow. And I used to always watch Glow as a kid, and it's funny,
Tina
they
Moretti.
always talk about the
Yeah.
Memphis and the WWF shows, but then also either on Saturday afternoon or Sunday, I don't remember which, it was syndicated. I was always pretty much glued to Glow, and I was of a certain age where I was starting to have unusual feelings about the characters on there. But it was a trip. It was a really
Yes.
it was a like a whimsical and weirdly put together show, not unlike the product that you saw on the Netflix
Yeah.
show, but it always sort of made an internal sense. Like if you watched it week to week, the storylines did sort of play out in ways that were cohesive.
Mhm.
And I don't know. I'd love to go back and watch it again because I do have fond memories.
Yeah. I
Oh, yeah.
remember one of the women that I remember watching wrestle too, and I would say this was more in the 90s, probably in the late 90s. Was and she was in ECW. I don't think I remember a lot of people remember this, but Nicole Bass. You guys remember her?
Yeah, yeah.
Um yeah, she was pretty big. She kind of was like she was kind of like China before China was cool. Like
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
she was the first kind of one to really kind of lead that whole being buff, being like a bodybuilder. She had that
He was
physique,
like the
you know.
Sandman to Stone Cold Steve Austin, right?
Yes, that's actually a really great
Yeah.
way to put it. Some other ones would, for me, of course, then would be like, you had Marlena, Terry Runnels,
Yeah.
Stone Cold Steve Austin's ex-wife. Rena Mero when she was doing things with Mark Mero, her husband at the time.
Yeah.
Obviously, she
Sable
ended
with
up becoming
I don't know.
Sable,
I don't know.
Brock
That's
Lesnar's Brock
yeah,
Lesnar's wife
Sable
currently.
and
Yeah. Um,
Sonny. I think
Sonny.
Sonny
Oh
Sonny
God, don't you
loves
start
Oh
on
man, I was
Sonny.
waiting to bring
Yeah,
that one up too because that's such a sad story.
yeah,
she
really horrible
really
person.
is.
Yeah,
I've
is
seen
she
her in
just
person.
like
Like
Yeah, I've
a
seen her in
like a
person.
like a like an atomic bomb
Doesn't
level
didn't
of
she have a whole Dark Side of the Ring episode about her?
I think
yeah,
so, yeah.
Yeah, she did.
like
Yeah. Oh man.
Well, and she
man,
had done horrible stuff to her husband, and I mean, it was
Yeah.
yes.
just not a
Yeah, dude.
It's
So
one of
good.
those instances of do not fucking meet your celebrity that you're into. It's like
Yeah.
nope, Sonny's a piece of shit.
Yeah,
I think the
I
one
believe
thing
she's still in prison, if I'm not mistaken.
She is for
she
murder.
is, she murdered somebody. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I think the one image I'll never forget though the most in the '90s is when uh, Alundra Blaze went to
Dude, yeah.
WCW and had the WWF Women's Championship there with her, and she tossed it in the trash. Do you guys remember that?
It wasn't even a toss, dude. She held it out like
She
it fucking
fucking straight
stank and
dumped that
dropped
shit in
it
there.
and said, boop,
She was like right there
get
by
rid of
Tony
the
Schiavone
stink
and Eric
pickle in the
Bischoff.
title.
This was pre NWO when she became Medusa. This is
Yeah.
pre NWO. It's like Eric Bischoff was up there and Tony Schiavone was there. And I
During the
think
height of the Monday Night Wars,
the
I mean,
height of the Monday
Yes.
Night Wars. Fuck
one
yeah,
of the
dude.
biggest coups for WCW,
Yeah. But I think for me, the big women that I really enjoyed watching, I think the were yeah, I was without a doubt, I think Lita was probably the was Lita and China were probably my two favorites
Mhm.
in that whole Attitude Era mix. I think for me, I don't recall, and maybe you guys can help me remember. I don't recall WCW having a whole lot of women's wrestling. I feel like everything in that '90s era was mostly men. But I
Yeah.
will say that WWF at the time did at least have some women's wrestling. Granted, you just had to. It was like finding a needle in a haystack because most of the things they had their female talent do were like all just provocative and
Bra and
uh,
panties matches.
pleasing. Yeah, I mean, bra and panties
Mhm.
matches and
Yeah.
what was that? A paddle on the pole match they had Trish Stratus do one time, or and
Oh,
yeah, you didn't like it. That's what I'm
Dude, she had
saying.
to kiss Vince's ass.
Yeah.
And she had to bark like a fucking dog. You remember that?
Yeah.
That was all part of the
Um,
same angle, wasn't it?
just yeah,
Yeah.
like he basically did all the things he liked doing in real life on a show.
Yeah.
At least he
Hey,
didn't shit on
glad I don't
anybody.
watch WWE, What a
Yeah.
guy.
What a yeah. Um, but I don't want to unless you guys have anything more to contribute. I kind of want to talk more about current stuff because I
Well, if
mean,
we're
well,
talking about the past, I did want to throw something in.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
did you guys happen to catch that fantastic biopic about Mildred Burke, Queen of the
No,
Ring?
I have not watched
I
Queen of
did,
the Ring.
yeah. Yep.
I have
Man,
not
that
seen
I,
that.
was I
I had the
I
pleasure
fucking
of seeing
cried
that
at
with
the
my
end.
friend Daniel Spencer, who was
Yeah.
in it for a couple of
Yeah, a
minutes.
lot of the OVW
Oh,
guys are
cool.
and people are in that
Mhm.
movie. Yeah, I need to watch that. I've heard that was
It was
really
really
good.
fun.
Yeah.
Um, it was one of those things where I started watching and I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be great. And by the end of it, I'm like, that was a fucking story, man. And I was kind of tearing up, and it's like, why am I tearing up? I literally know all of this information.
Yeah.
Um, it was good.
There
It was
were
it was
they
I
really
definitely need
kind
to
of
watch that.
they massaged some facts in that.
hell yes, they did. Um,
Definitely massaged some facts. It was
Yeah.
you
funny
know,
because
Well, they got
here
to.
in
It's a
Louisville
movie.
we have the Palace Theater, which is a great
They gotta
institution.
Hollywood it up. You know what I mean? That's what they
mhm.
Yeah,
do with every story. They gotta
they
Hollywood it up.
shot a lot of stuff in the Palace, and anybody who ever has gone in there can kind of see like the
Yeah, that place is
Palace
cool.
played like five different places during the course of the movie, like different parts of
Mhm.
the palace. They would just sort of
Yeah.
shoot from this angle, so it was.
Yeah, they shot some of
But,
it in the New Albany Theater too, over
yeah,
here, which isn't
yeah.
too far,
Oh,
which is
nice.
where
Oh,
a lot of
sure.
those
Yeah, I know
matches,
the place you mean. I
which was
can't think
pretty
of the name.
cool. I forget the name of that damn theater, but it
Cool
was in
spot.
there too.
Good place to
Cool
see a
spot.
wedding.
Cool spot.
Um,
Yeah.
the thing that I took away from that movie that I liked the most was I thought Camille was just so good in it. I thought Camille was really sort of like
Mhm.
revelatory in that. She was
Okay.
much better, and I like her. I think she's really cool.
Yeah.
But the way that she came off, and I forget the name of the woman that she played, but the John Cosper, I guess you guys might know John Cosper, is sort of the regional
Yeah, he has a lot of books.
wrestling.
He did books on Grindhouse
Yeah.
and things.
He
Yeah.
did do a book on. I'm in
Yeah.
it somewhere. I haven't been able to find myself in front
Fuck
of it.
yeah. Fuck yeah.
But
I've met him. I've talked to him. He's good dude. He's good dude.
I like him a lot. Yeah, he actually wrote the book about the character that
Oh, nice.
Camille plays in that, and
Yeah.
Camille plays the woman as if she's just like the Antichrist. I mean, she comes off in the movie. And I asked John what the
Fuck
family
yeah.
thought, and he said they thought it was great. They were like
That's
they didn't
fantastic.
cram all square. So
That's fantastic. I need to watch that because I know Daniel Spencer's in that. I saw Jim Cornette
Cornette's
is
in
in
it.
that.
Yeah, the guy
Um,
who John
Super
Kreese
Z.
from Karate Kid is in it.
Yeah, yeah. Super Z is in
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Super Z is in it.
Our
I
buddy
forgot about
ZDP, Zach Pittman is in
Yeah,
that. That's pretty fucking cool. Yeah,
I
I need to catch
enjoyed
that
it.
movie. I think I'm gonna
No,
watch
you do
that
for sure.
this week for
You can
sure.
tell that it was made by somebody who loved this subject.
That's
That was
good. And
cool.
that's what
Yes.
matters. That's what matters when you're
Um,
making biopics like that about
there
real people.
there was one part though that I got to talk about because I rolled my eyes so fucking hard. It has nothing to do with women's wrestling, but there was just like a kind of a background conversation, and it ends with her being like, "Oh, George, you're so gorgeous," and I'm like, "Oh, Jesus Christ, did they really just do
Yeah,
that?" And then
I
like,
honestly
Gorgeous George.
found a
That's
lot of
great.
moments in the movie to be like that. I don't
yeah,
know. I had a good time. Whatever.
Nice.
no, I did
Um,
too. Yeah, for sure.
so
Before we
let's
zip
get into
ahead, I'd also like to mention Shimmer, which was a tremendous independent uh,
I've
women's
not heard of this.
wrestling federation that ran for I think like 10 or 11 years out of Berwyn in Chicago. A lot of
Okay.
women who wrestle
Okay.
currently came out of that,
Nice.
and
That's what's
Thunder
up.
Kitty being maybe the most notable
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Ruby Riot, she came out of that, or Ruby Soho.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
And then
awesome.
across the ocean, Pro Wrestling Eve is a wrestling promotion in England that's had Tony Storm came through there. B. Presley came through that.
Nice.
A lot of real great wrestling from that. And those are both things that you can find pretty easily on YouTube. And
Hell yeah.
several hours, many, many hours of great wrestling, women's wrestling that's just there. And Pro Wrestling Eve, especially, was just a very like feminist uh, organization. Like everything about it just has like sort of that punk rock sensibility that you want from that kind of thing. And some of the wrestling shows that I've watched and wished I was at the most have been some of those Pro Wrestling Eve things. So anybody that's
Yeah.
interested in wrestling that's not hip to those two things, highly recommend.
Right.
A lot of great shit there.
So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna get into more of the we'll talk about the NXT, the Four Horsewoman era, which really
Oh,
is what
nice. Yes.
sparked the modern era of professional wrestling. I would at least say in WWE, but that's also carried into I'm sorry, AEW. We'll talk about that for a little bit too.
Yes, they have a
But you
great
had
women's division too.
yeah, they really do. But you had Charlotte Flair, Bailey, Becky Lynch, and Sasha Banks. They're the four. They are known as the Four Horsewomen in WWE. All of these women have had an exceptional
Well,
career.
now it's
Um,
Becky and Charlotte
should I say
and
Becky?
Bailey and Redacted.
Well, no, it's Charlotte, Bailey, Becky, and Sasha. That's the original.
Yeah, and then you can't say Sasha Banks anymore, so it's Redacted.
I don't give a fuck about
They
that.
all I can
Do what
say
I want.
Sasha Banks all I want, bro.
You can
She's
say
got like
Becky.
14
That's who
titles
she
right
was.
now. She's doing great.
Okay. But anyway,
It
Sasha
does.
Banks.
That's who she
That's
was when she
that's who
was.
she was. Anyway,
Yeah.
but they were the ones that kind of picked up the torch and really turned the dime on turned a corner rather on women's wrestling, especially in WWE, because it needed it bad. And as I had said earlier, women's wrestling was really just, especially in WWE, was just pretty non-existent. You had to really look for those good matches there.
Well, it
But
was
There were
undervalued,
two.
There just
but
wasn't really a culture in place there to cultivate that as much.
There were two
no,
reality shows
no.
based on what they were doing when they weren't wrestling because nobody gave a fuck what was going on in the ring, so they tried to spin it a different way.
Yeah, they did Tough Enough and
Well, I'm talking about Total Divas and Total Bellas.
oh, well, nobody gives a fuck. Nobody gives a fuck about those, man.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what they were
Those,
doing with the talent before
yeah,
this
yeah.
era.
They had nothing for them. They were
Yeah,
just I think Rocco said they were kind of like a shy show at this point.
Well,
yeah.
I
Um,
had already known who Nikki and Brie Bella were before I started wrestling because of well, a friend of mine was really into the show.
Yeah,
So
we had them. We had this era in NXT, which was amazing. I call it the golden era of NXT, which that's a whole
I,
other discussion. Let's not get off track.
yeah. That
but
can be a future episode. Yeah.
but uh, it really took these women to really stand out and step up. And since that, we have seen some really great women come out of pro wrestling and WWE that has bled over into, I would even say, like TNA,
Hmm.
AEW. Now we've got, we'll talk about Charlotte, Becky, Bailey, and Sasha for a sec. Um, you've got Charlotte who just lost the tag team titles with Alexa Bliss this past week. You've got Bailey who she has just done a number of different things throughout the course of her career since this was 10 years ago when the Four Horsewomen came about in the NXT. Becky Lynch, man, you can't really say a whole lot about her that hasn't already been said unless it's been said by Sports Illustrated. I had to do the joke.
Wow.
But I mean, she's just been amazing. Like she's still doing her thing, women's intercontinental champion. Which, by the way, let's talk about that for a sec.
Yeah.
She's still one of my favorites.
The fact that we have two women's mid card belts. This has been a long time coming, by the way. Um, the fact that these women only had for the longest time, even for the longest time, they only have one title. They had a Divas title. Even before then, the women's championship, right? That was
Yeah.
it.
Shaped like a butterfly. Yeah.
That was it. That's all they had. And
Yeah.
now it's sparked into we fast forward 10 years, even dare I say 20 years, and now they've got
Yeah.
multiple belts to go after. They have
Mhm.
a US title, they have an Intercontinental Championship, they've got a tag team division, which that's been pretty
Mm.
pretty bad.
They'll work
Like,
on it.
Do they still have an NXT tag team division too for them?
yeah, I mean and that's true too. We have NXT. They
That's
I
nice.
don't think they have a tag team division there anymore. They got rid of those belts.
They did for a
But
minute.
they've got different belts over there. Um I mean now the women as far as WWE go, they have lots to go after now. I mean,
Well, and I mean, what it comes
not
down
to
to is
mention,
just that it's booked more. You know what I mean? I mean, it's like the old thing in wrestling. Like, how do you win a lot in wrestling? You get booked to be that. You know what I mean? Give it more TV time, more training, make it more
but now,
sense to the
Well,
storytelling. And when
even
it's
in the
not, then it all trickles down. You know that results in none of it being valued back in the day that it wasn't.
yeah,
Well, even in the past 10 years too, because when AJ Lee just returned and she said that when she left, she felt like she had completed everything that she could and wanted to do in wrestling. And then she came back and like they have all of these different things now
yeah,
and opportunities and things that they didn't have, when she left. So
Yeah. One
hmm
interesting thread about
she's
that
got
is
more to
that
do.
NXT obviously that was when Triple H was booking it, so
Yeah.
Triple H could sort of do whatever he wanted with his hour of TV on the network every week, And then when we got into the point that those characters and those wrestlers, those women had interest in them when they went to the main roster, it was something that Vince didn't seem to care that much about. So then
Yeah.
when we got to the point that we had the
yeah,
WrestleMania main event, that was Becky and Charlotte and Ronda Rousey, which was such a crazy coup at the time for her to be involved. It was
Yeah.
something where Vince, the programming wasn't great because of the way that Vince was handling things, but this was one corner of the television he didn't care about.
yeah,
You like during that era, anything that
Very
Vince
true.
didn't seem to have like total dominion over was the best stuff. Like NXT at that time.
hmm
There was rumors that he didn't even like watch it. He didn't even know who the champ was at any given time because it was Triple H was getting to do that.
yeah.
So that,
They had Triple H and Shawn running that.
yeah,
Both of
yeah,
them were until Triple H had to step up and take care of the
right.
two main shows.
And I don't
Yeah.
think
But
that we've ever
but yeah,
topped. I think that was like the best wrestling of this century, honestly.
yeah. I
But
mean, and then you've got
Mm.
on top of that, you have women have their own Money in the Bank now too, which is cool. You
yeah,
know,
well,
I
and
That's
mean,
very
they're
you know,
doing
cool.
like
Yeah.
so much.
Survivor Series stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, they're war games
Just say
matches.
war
I mean,
games. Yeah.
they have their own Royal
Mhm.
yeah,
Rumble now too. I mean, who'd have thought about that, right? Like, I mean, you think about how such a stark contrast is now. Uh, I mean, even in the whole landscape of professional wrestling, I mean, it's not like women never wrestled, right? It's just now it's
Yeah.
such a they didn't feel like they were on as equal footing with the men
They weren't.
20, 30
Mhm.
plus years ago,
yeah.
even 10 years ago. And
Yeah.
now,
I mean, like I had no idea that
yeah,
they didn't even have like women's Money in the Bank or Royal Rumble or anything like that.
no,
It was like
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't even
Rumble's
that
like
long
what
ago.
in 6 years or something like
Something
that.
like
This was
that.
the
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
sixth
pretty
one or
new.
something like that. And I was just like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Like, and not that I didn't think that it had been around as long as the men's, obviously, but just
Yeah, they
that's
had their
so
first
new.
Women's Royal Rumble in 2018, so we're not
That's
even 10 years out.
crazy.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
crazy
not
to
even 10
me.
years out from that.
Well, and I think there were women all along that could have done this. They just didn't get to, which is very
Yeah.
sad,
Yeah.
unfortunate.
Well, it's
And
Yeah.
because
it's
they
good
were
that
over
we're at a
sexual.
point
They
where
were over sexualized in an era where,
Yeah.
unfortunately, that's women have already been trying to fight for so many things, even outside of pro
right.
wrestling. But keep it into this realm. Um,
Well, I mean, that
it's
was the
great to see that.
generation I grew up in. I mean, like wrestling aside, I mean, just, being a teenager in the
Yeah,
90s, that was everywhere.
yeah. I mean, you got to think about it too. Like women,
Magazines,
you did
commercials,
not
like,
have a lot of women watching pro wrestling either 20 years ago
No.
because they didn't have anything to identify with. I don't think people quite realize that, and that's why it's so important to have such diversity and things like that in anything, sports things, but in pro wrestling more so because you don't, you might have they might have been girls back then who were like, I think this is cool, but like I don't have who do I really? I mean, all they had back then really was like what Trish and Lita, and
Right.
not much outside of that. Now you can't get enough of it. I mean, now you have entire, which granted, I think they should have been doing an Evolution pay-per-view every year at this point. There's no reason to just make like, oh, we're just gonna pull out, we're just gonna remind everyone that we had a whole women's pay-per-view. We should do that again. You should be doing that every year. Like, what's wrong with you? Like,
I think that what
you
that
have
came down to was that attendance wasn't as good as they wanted it to be for both of those things, but pay-per-view buys were. So I think there was probably somebody who just said that by that metric it wasn't worth doing, but
yeah.
I think that's unfortunate. I mean, you
there's just
built,
still,
I mean, I'm okay with not having that.
yeah. I think that there's still enough female talent there that you can do good. I mean, I think right now we're thriving. Right now, you got people like Chelsea Green who's doing just crazy shit all over the
Fucking
board.
love Chelsea, man.
You
Oh my
got
God. And I'll tell
yeah,
you
she's
what,
great.
I'm super excited for Maxine Dupree to go against Becky again on
I think she's
Monday.
gonna beat her for the title.
I hope she
I
does
hope she does.
all those
because
clips of Maxine like doing all the Kurt Angle moves and stuff. That's
Yeah.
pretty wild.
yeah, she's really, I mean, like you
She's been
can
training with Chad
tell
Gable.
she's really been working
Cool.
hard.
That's
Yeah.
Like
cool.
you can tell. Like she couldn't do anything
And I think that's going to
like
be
when she
Becky's way
first.
of passing the torch. I think she wants to kind of get
Well,
that
you can
passed
tell that
along
she's trying to put
because Becky's
more people
getting
over.
into that
Yeah,
era now where
you can tell.
she's, you know,
I think her I
yeah,
think both her and Seth are side note, I think both her and Seth are gonna retire within the next few years. But
yeah.
anyway.
Well, yeah, but regardless of that, I think that and then you got these, like I said, we got these mid card belts now, which I think is great for the women to have more things to go after. Although what I will say, I wish they didn't just parrot all the women's belts off after the men's belts. I would kind of like to
Yeah.
see the women
Yeah, have their
have
own.
kind of like how in AEW they have like the TBS championship and the TNT. I don't know. I can't remember what they're all now, but they
Yeah,
have those.
TNT is men's TBS.
That's right. They're not so it's TBS now. But like they have just make like I think it'd be kind of cool if they made a women's championship that floated between both shows, or maybe even make a women's belt that floats between NXT, Raw, and SmackDown. That'd be kind of
I
cool.
do like
I
when
like that.
belts have sort of a gimmick purpose for them to exist.
Yeah.
Like it used to be like, remember like in the 80s when it was like a match for the main title was almost always one-on-one, unless there was
Yeah.
real extreme circumstances. And then the Intercontinental belt was like, fuck it, put it on the ceiling. Like have a ladder, climb the ladder. Like it was like that was always where the experimental shit would happen, was with those other belts.
Yeah.
And I like that. I think that would be cool to have really across the board, just like other belts that sort of exist to have some sort of a special sort of a sauce to what they are and what they're about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I just think it'd be kind of cool if they had a unique title for the women that
Right.
wasn't
Yeah,
just
I agree.
a
I get what you're
copy
saying.
copy pasted of the men. I
Yeah, I
kind of
agree.
Mhm.
dope. Something different, something new.
What would you
I
call it?
have no idea. I don't know. You could. I don't know. That's not for me to say. I
That's
don't know
not for
what I
me
would
to
call
determine. Yeah.
that. There are people, and I'm sure that will probably figure that out more than I will. But I will say this: I think they should have one. Um, I don't know what that would be. I just don't think they need to just. I mean, come on, surely WWE in the golden era of WWE right now can totally come up with. Oh, I know what they'll do. They'll call it the they'll call it the Nike Women's internet. I don't know, some stupid. They'll put a brand. It's got to be branded.
Stop.
It's gonna be advertised.
Stop.
They could call it the
Internet
Victoria's
history. Yeah.
Secret. They could go back to their roots and call it like the Victoria's Secret. Um, I don't know.
You got nothing. Just stop.
That's why you don't ask me to name these things. I don't. I have nothing. But I'm sure it'll be a belt with all the ads all over it because that's
I'm
their
sure. Well, with
right.
the TKO ownership, yeah.
Yeah, man. I do want to. I think we need to go. Let's kind of gravitate away from WWE for a sec, where I know
Mhm.
where some of us tend to be very comfortable in talking about. Let's talk about good old AEW.
Yeah.
I don't watch AEW every week. I try to catch a pay-per-view. I know somebody's going to scream at me for that. Like, how can you have a show about wrestling and not watch everything? It's very hard to watch everything all the time.
There's a
We
lot
have
of
Um,
wrestling out there, dude. I'm
believe it
not
or
gonna
not,
lie,
we
I
do have
watch
live.
recaps for a lot of it.
yeah.
I watch
Um,
almost nothing, to be honest. I just sort of see highlights and stuff when
and
I
but
hear.
you're still involving yourself in a way, and that's cool, you know.
Yeah, I'm still in
Um,
it, man. I
yeah,
still
you're
watch.
still in it.
Yeah.
I
You're still in it.
swear I love wrestling.
AEW, man, they've got some great talent over there. I want to talk
They
about
truly
Timeless
do,
Tony
man.
Storm. She's
I'd say we
amazing.
better talk about Tony Storm.
Timeless
Yeah,
Tony Storm, if you don't know, she was in WWE at one point. She was in NXT,
yeah.
and they made her just awful
Yeah,
there.
I don't think she
used
was
her a lot.
awful at any point. She's her and Rhea Ripley. I followed their career from very early on. They used to be
Yeah,
on the Pro Wrestling Eve a lot, so I was
Yeah.
already pretty invested in them when they showed up on the Mae Young Classic, the first one.
yeah.
Yeah,
It was like,
which
Fucking
was
all
A.
great.
right, I know these girls. These girls from my hometown of New Zealand.
Yeah, dude.
But yeah, no, I always thought they were both cool, and they were kind of the same person when they started all out, which is pretty interesting given where they've gone since then. But I always liked Tony Storm.
Yeah,
I
man.
liked her like 80s rock and roll gimmick.
Yeah,
She was like one of
she
Yeah.
those
was doing it at the
girly
time. Yeah.
dudes that was in like Warrant, but she was a woman and she was a wrestler.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that always worked on me. I thought she was great.
I was really thrilled when Chris Statlander won the AEW Women's Championship. I've always liked her.
Yeah,
Um,
Mhm.
she's
overdue.
she's always been really good, way overdue.
Yeah. One of the
Uh,
things that they're good at in AEW is that when somebody is the champion, the crown weighs heavy. Like you always see the champion just going through so much shit
yeah.
and how much defending that title is just very
Oh yeah.
difficult and wears on, well, the
Yeah.
actual wrestlers themselves in real life. But it's also something they always do a good job of writing in. Like the match where Tony actually lost that belt. First of all, I had one of the best promo videos I've ever seen. That thing that I made you guys watch, where Tony Storm like made her own movie.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, that was great.
yeah,
Yeah.
incredible. But the way
Oh
that they
yeah.
framed it
Fantastic.
was, it's like, all right, I've been doing this every month for months, and I'm dying here. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if I can pull this off, fighting all three of these women off. Of course
Yeah.
she didn't. So she doesn't really lose anything by losing, and it also is like, all right, the new champ has that target on their back, and I like that from a continuity perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tony Storm's a four-time AEW Women's Champion right now. I do
If
kind of
AEW
I
could
really
just have a
dig.
show that was just a women's wrestling show, I would love that so much because they
Ooh,
tend to
yeah,
only have that 9:30 time slot where they put the
that'd be
women.
pretty cool. That'd
They've
be
got
pretty
the
cool.
I
roster
would
for it.
love to have, I don't know, more than one match.
I always dug that the first women's champion was Riho. She was
Yeah,
really good, man. Like she had that belt for like 100 plus days. It came. I think that came down to like her and Nyla Rose. Which I like Nyla Rose too. I always thought she was great. I had a chance to meet her. I think I met her like the first SCX. She was such a sweetheart to talk to.
Oh yeah.
Um, Brett Baker is another one, which I don't even think she's in doing anything in AEW currently.
yeah. I kind of get the
Um,
sense that something personal has happened there,
I think
unfortunately.
something's been going on with her personally. Um, Another standout, and she's now currently in NXT is Mariah May. Um,
Oh yeah,
NXT.
yeah.
But it remains to be seen if they're going to do anything good with her. Um,
A shame if
it's
not.
because she's such a talented woman that's over
Yeah.
there. And then of
Well, and I
course,
think she maybe kind of gets lost in the shuffle over there because they have so many great women's wrestlers, and
yeah,
70 Varquar, I gather, got called up eventually. Well, she's
Stephanie
doesn't she
She
Vaquer.
have
is,
the
yeah, yeah,
Continental belt now, or did
yeah.
she? Or
Stephanie Vaquer is the current women's champion right now, women's world
okay.
champion right now.
Oh, nice. Okay,
Stephanie
beautiful.
And
Vaquer,
she
yeah,
is.
That's
yeah.
how
Stephanie
far the
Vaquer
world
is
has.
I think
Julia,
Stephanie Vaquer is my current one of my current top women right now. I'm like kind
yeah,
of
she's really
she's
impressive.
I got a spotlight on
Mhm.
her. I know we haven't talked about uh, Jade Cargill. She went from AEW
Yeah,
Yes.
to
You mean
WWE, and
Storm?
yeah, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
Um,
That's
fucking
exactly what
Storm.
I thought of when I first saw her.
She
If they
looks
don't
like
put
great
Michael. No, no,
delivery.
now this is me talking about
they
comic
don't
books for a
cast
second.
her they don't
She looks
cast
like
her as
Michael
Storm in a
Turner
movie.
drew
Okay.
Storm and then stepped off of a page.
If she doesn't play Storm in a movie, I am going to
I'm
be very
telling you,
disappointed.
You know what though? I think she blew it by performing as Storm so many times.
you're
Oh,
not
right.
wrong though.
I mean, like,
But
I don't think that the people at Disney are like, who we need to get to play this role is somebody that's cosplayed as it a bunch of times on programming with no control on a Warner Brothers show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
so Jade was the inaugural TBS champion in AEW when that belt was started off, and she had
Yes.
that belt for a very very long time.
Yeah, she was very
It
green at the
was
time.
when I started watching it because I had started watching AEW from the beginning when it was like
Yeah.
Cody and the Young Bucks and everybody was like having a good that time. I was down with that, and they
Oh
lost
yeah.
me for a while. That's a whole other episode we'll talk about later on down the
Yeah,
road.
they lost me too. In truth, I mean,
But for me,
week to week the booking was not
but we'll talk about that at some other point, not right now. But
good.
for
That'll
me,
be another time.
when I was watching AEW, Jade was one of my favorite people to watch. Jade
Mhm.
was
Fact.
killing it, and when I found out she was coming to WWE, I was kind of like, ugh. I was like, I don't know. And then I was really glad they did not blow her up right away. And what I mean by
That was a
that is
very slow burn. Yeah.
they didn't just give her the gold or have her win the Rumble or they really did a good. I got to give WWE credit where credit is due. They did a really good job, like Josh, you just said, letting it be a slow burn.
Yeah.
She just beat
Well, I
Tiffany
think they knew
Stratton.
she needed some extra training too. You
Sure.
know,
Oh yeah, I mean,
and
well, and
green.
you gotta
Yeah.
be WWE ready because it's a different beast, right? It's a
They have their own specific standards. Yeah.
whole
Yeah,
different thing. So she found her way. She had a good rivalry with Naomi and Bianca Belair, and
yeah,
um, now she's I guess she's a heel now. And she's the WWE Women's Champion because she beat Tiffany Stratton recently. I think
Yes,
she beat her
yes,
at
she
Saturday Night's
did.
Main
Yeah.
Event, right? Yeah. So I mean, I'm just psyched for her. I think she's great. I remember when I first saw her in AEW, she just has that, that it, like that she has that it factor for a woman in wrestling. She's got it.
Yes.
And
yeah.
I know a lot of people when they saw her in WWE. I know Raven was one of those people when she first came over. She's like, I don't know, but I'm like, no, I know.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great.
No, charisma to burn for sure. And I really the angle with Naomi and Bianca where they had that confrontation where
Oh,
it
at,
came
at,
to
at
light
the
that
chamber.
yeah,
Yeah.
that Naomi
When she came out, went right after Naomi. That
and they
was
cried, and it was like the cry, like just something about it just felt so real and sort of just unlike anything I'd quite seen before, even though it was a pretty standard like heel turn kind of a thing. Like that was cool, and that only really involved Storm by proxy, but that's still cool that she was involved in that because
Yeah.
I thought that was some riveting television.
Oh, I mean, without a doubt. Um,
One thing
I
I want to say about
do.
AEW
Yeah.
before we move away from that, this is what we're doing. Some of the
Yes.
best women's promos I've ever seen have been on AEW. Some of the funniest shit.
Yes.
Um, when oh, what's her name? She was in the Dark Order for a bit. Anna Jay.
Yeah. Anna
Anna
Jay.
Oh,
Yes.
Jay's
okay, Anna Jay.
I've got a fat ass and a bad attitude. Brandy Rhodes, who told you it was open mic night, bitch?
Yeah.
Oh,
That was
Brandy
good
That's
too.
Rhodes.
Yeah.
Brandy Rhodes had some amazing shit, and I'm so glad you brought up Brandy. So for those Cody Rhodes'
I
wife,
have never seen her wrestle.
and
I didn't even know she was a
it's a
wrestler for a
damn
long time.
shame she's done nothing in WWE. There's probably a reason for that,
Yeah, I don't
but
think they have
I
her
wish
signed for
I
anything.
wish she would.
Really funny in
Mhm.
Ada. I mean,
She's
just
great.
like one of those people that just kind of has
Well, I mean, if you ever watch like any of her, you like she had a YouTube like
Yes.
show for a while,
It was like
yeah.
a
and then the
half-ass
banter
cooking show
between
where they
her
would
and
get
Cody
I
drunk.
was
Rhodes
just
is
getting ready to
funny.
say, just between her and Cody is hilarious. Like
She's
she
great.
is something
I
else.
fucking
Yeah.
love I fucking love Brandy Rhodes.
Yeah, I love
I think
her.
she's cool, man. I do.
Oh
I
yeah,
like her. I
Mhm.
thought she
fuck
was
yeah, dude.
pretty funny and everything that she did, and
Now,
AEW. I remember there was a whole thing where she had been a ring announcer in NXT, and I guess like she didn't like it or want to go back to it for any reason. And like
yeah,
the first COVID night of AEW, which during COVID, AEW was so fucking special. And it really like gave people
Yes.
a thing to look forward to every week during some
oh
really
man,
fun
yeah,
days. But she was doing the announcing and she like did this little flourish where like she threw the microphone over her shoulder.
yes.
Fuck this.
So I want to talk about.
Really naturally funny.
I would be amiss if we didn't bring up TNA and
Yeah, sure.
Knockouts division. Now I'm gonna tell you something. Um, if you couldn't find a whole lot of anything in WWE at that time, TNA was the place to be.
Oh, for sure, dude.
TNA was
Yeah.
the place. I mean,
Oh, I was
we had
about Jordan Grace.
well, that was later.
Yeah, I know.
That was
I'm
later.
just saying.
And don't worry, she's coming up.
Yeah.
But we have to go back to the legendary. I haven't mentioned this woman's name yet, and there's a reason why, because she had dual careers. She had a really good WWE career, but boy, she really when she went to TNA, she just got even more legendary. I'm talking about Mickey James.
Yeah.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
Mickey James, just an absolute legend. Is she in the Hall of Fame? I don't think she's in the Hall of Fame yet, is she?
No, not
No.
yet.
Oh, wow, that needs to happen. That's my pick. That's my pick for if you're gonna put a female in next year, put her in. Mickey James came over and it's TNA, and she is without a doubt, I would say, probably one of the most well-known knockouts in TNA history. In early TNA day, she came out and she just had an amazing run. I mean, she already had a phenomenal run. Her first run in WWE, which ended in like the late 2000s, but she was doing her stuff with Trish Stratus. She had a big
Yep.
storyline to do with them.
Stalker and all
But
that. That's
yeah,
cool.
yeah, the stalker. Yeah, she was Trish Stratus' stalker. Yeah,
Yeah.
That was
yeah,
such a
which was great.
weird storyline, yeah.
I actually
Super
hadn't
weird.
watched wrestling for a long time, and me and some pals had like, I think it was like a Thanksgiving get together, and one of my
Yeah,
buddies was like, "I got to go watch this NXT thing," and I was like, "What is NXT?" And it's like, "Oh, it's like what OVW used to be," and
Yeah.
it was
early NXT was. Yeah.
Mickey James versus Asuka. And I was just
Oh
like,
Oh
shit.
yeah,
what in the fuck is this? Like, this is
shit.
WWE programming? Like, women
Yeah,
are hard on
yeah,
WWE.
dude.
And
Yeah,
that
dude.
was what got me back into wrestling on this current
Oh,
stint.
oh,
Like,
that's great. I didn't know that. Okay.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, man.
yeah.
But then you've got another. I would say this is probably to me, as far as TNA goes, this
I
is more
think I know what
modern.
you're going to say. I'll be very interested to hear.
I gotta talk about Jordan Grace.
Okay. Well, I
Um,
might
Oh my
say
God,
Gail
yeah.
Kim. Gail
Jordan
Kim
Grace.
had a similar trajectory as Mickey
Mhm.
James,
Well,
and I think was
we'll
equally.
yeah, we'll get there. We got Jordan Grace. Jordan Grace. Um, I remember watching her when I actually first moved down here. Um, I watched. I think she was on the same pay per view as Tessa Blanchard, which we're gonna talk about her too. But I know it's controversial, but we got to talk about Tessa Blanchard because you can't not
I can
talk
talk
about
about that all day, man.
can't not talk about the knockouts as much as people hate on Tessa. She's a goddamn good wrestler, okay?
We can talk,
And
man.
but I remember one of the first pay per view I went to at the OVW at the Davis Arena. It wasn't even an OVW. It was a cross promotion between OVW and TNA.
Okay.
And I think like D'Lo Brown was one of the commentators, which was really
Yeah,
fucking weird.
yeah, yeah.
And I got to see a match. I got to see Tessa Blanchard was on that card, and Jordan Grace was on that card.
Was that when Tessa had the men's belt?
Yeah, she had the men's title.
Oh, was that show?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so
Yeah.
I saw that was my first time seeing both these women. And I just remember just being so and this was when like Jordan Grace had not really like etched her body at this point. Like she hadn't really cut herself.
Yeah,
Oh,
she
yeah.
looked very different.
It's
She
completely
did, yeah.
different. She was way more thick then. I mean, I
Yeah.
think she looked good then too. I like thick
Mhm.
girls.
I always thought she was.
But
I
outside
think
of that, she also when she got cut and she got herself more of a more looking like I mean she had that China build to her.
but she was short.
And she just I mean she just really evolved and now she's in NXT.
Yeah.
I would imagine she's gonna probably go the route of like a Jade where she's a slow burn.
Well, I mean, I think she's a much better wrestler than Jade.
I think so too. Yeah. And when she
Yeah,
finally gets
no,
on the
I'm gonna
main
have to
roster,
agree.
I think when she finally gets on the main roster, she's going to turn a lot of heads. People,
Absolutely, it's gonna happen. I've also been on the Jordan Grace train for a while.
yeah, me
Um,
too.
you remember a while back when we were just kind of casually talking about like what we were doing, and like what are you into right now type of conversation. I'm like, dude, I'm into this fucking book series, and I've got a point with this. And it's one of those things where the main character abruptly goes from being just like a regular person to just like she immediately has basically a Jordan Grace build overnight. And
Oh
I
yeah, like
ended
she
up,
goes from like a cocoon to like a butterfly and like that.
yeah,
Just
it's
kind of sprouts
basically
out. Yeah.
so TLDR, she literally becomes a like RPG style character and dumps 10 points of stats into her, body
Strength
stat,
build.
and then
Strength
it's
build.
like, okay, this can't be reversed. She's like, yeah, whatever, I'll whatever, and then immediately just like, oh my god, I'm a bodybuilder. So
Yeah.
I'm reading that, and my brain immediately goes,
This is
oh, that
Jordan
would be
Grace.
great for Jordan Grace to play this character. And as the book's going through, I'm like, no, this is absolutely a part written for Jordan Grace. So
Yeah.
there's this, ask me anything on Reddit where the author's talking to, his fans, and I'm like, dude, Jordan Grace is the character if this ever gets made into a movie or TV show. And he goes, yeah, no, I'm
Yeah.
very aware of that individual person,
Oh,
and I can't really say anything, but I think that she would be great. And I'm like, that's where I'm at. Yeah.
yeah.
So I
Hell
look
yeah,
forward to
dude.
things like that too, because it could happen.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
think it's great.
I want to. There was one thing before we. I'm gonna cut back to Mickey James for real quick because I would be. We're talking about women's wrestling, and I know someone's gonna listen to our show because we have a ton of listeners, and someone's gonna go, but how could you not mention this about Mickey James? Mickey
What
James
about Greg?
was the first person to go into WWE with a TNA title. She came
Oh
over
yeah,
to
Did
WWE
she?
the
yeah,
Royal
I forgot
Rumble
about that.
as the current Knockouts Women's Champion.
Yeah, not that long
She
ago.
was-
Oh shit, that's right.
Yeah, dude, that was like 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Yeah,
Yeah.
I had
Yeah.
completely forgotten about
she had a belt, and it was
See,
the
me
first time
too.
we had ever heard anybody in
That was the
WWE
start of the crossover.
mention that TNA existed at
Yeah.
that point. Like that was.
because this was when I was still really getting into it. I didn't know who Mickey James was, and I was just like, okay,
I
what's
remember marking the fuck
belt?
out for that when she
Oh
ran down
yeah,
with the
I
Oh yeah.
belt.
remember that now.
Michael
Yeah.
Cole was like, "She's the current TNA Knockouts." I'm like, "He said the thing. He said
He said
Yeah.
the
the thing."
thing.
My
Yeah.
Well, and
God.
it was after Triple H had taken over, so it was just
Yeah.
like, oh yeah,
Yep.
here's a sign that we're doing things.
Here's the direction we're going. That was huge.
And that was an
Huge
early
moment.
sign of things.
Yes.
Huge.
Yeah.
And then the current state of the room, which we're gonna
Yeah.
get to.
Yeah.
We got a little bit of time. So Jordan Grace, man, currently in NXT, she is gonna be. I'm letting y'all know right now. Look out for her when she gets into the main roster. Um, she's gonna be really. I would love. You know what I would love with Jade being the current champion. I would love to see Jordan Grace feud with Jade Cargill.
Mhm.
I think that'd be kind of cool. And not she won't win the belt from her because they're not going to do that right
No.
away. But I think she should take a big loss from Jordan and be like, look, not right now. Like, um, I'm gonna save Tessa Blanchard for a bit, but I got to talk about this woman also who crossed over from. She started in WWE, went to TNA, and then came back to WWE. And I'm talking about Naomi. Gotta
Yep.
talk about Trinity.
Yep. Yep.
Trinity, Naomi, whatever you know her as. What an amazing woman wrestler, man. Um, just has great charisma. I will say I didn't think much of her when she first started in WWE.
He's a Funkadactyl.
I think she really rebuilt her career in TNA. When she got over there, she was having feud. Man, her feud with Jordan Grace was great, by the way.
Yeah.
One of the that's that's who she had her final match with. I think what right was Jordan Grace when she left TNA to come back to WWE. Um,
Hmm.
and then she came back and Naomi won the women's title, and then God damn it, Big Jim knocked her up and
God
cost
damn
her the
it, Big
belt.
Jim.
I know. It's like
Big Jim,
she's like her prime time of
her
her
prime right
career right
now.
now. She
Yeah,
really is. Like
yeah, dude.
but honestly though, like she's been so happy and healthy and confident, and I'm telling you, that's how she got pregnant.
You know what would be a
Like
you
she
know
is
what would
just
be
like, no, I'm serious. She is totally, and I don't mean that in a sexual way, guys. I
Right.
mean, like
oh we know.
when you are happy and healthy and just not thinking about it and just living your life to the
Yeah.
fullest, like that's when things happen.
I'm calling this match right now. I want you know what I want to see as a
What?
WrestleMania main event, maybe in like 2 3 years once they really peak up and when Naomi comes back.
Hmm.
I want a triple threat match for the women's title between Jade Cargill, Naomi, and fucking Jordan Grace. Book that match right now.
Oh,
That oh man, I want that. I
in
want to
WWE,
see
that would be so
that
cool.
would be sick because then
Yeah.
you've got an AEW former AEW woman,
Hmm.
TNA, and you got a TNA original and a
Hmm.
WWE original, and they're
Yep.
all gonna. That would be good. That'd be good. But for me, Naomi's
All right.
great, man. I think this last run that she had before she was having a kid and bearing a child and everything, this whole like proceed with caution stuff was pretty funny for
Hmm.
her. Her
You
really
can tell she enjoys being a heel.
Oh yeah, she did.
absolutely
Oh my gosh.
without a doubt. Without a doubt.
And
You can
she's
always tell when
still,
somebody thought about it for a long time too, like what they
Yeah.
would do.
yeah.
But she really wanted to bring it
And
to being a heel.
she's still online. Like she cracks me up. She's so funny. She's like genuinely like funny. And she says that she, was shit. I can't remember the full thing, but she had tweeted recently or said that she wished somebody could take the baby for a while so she could come back and kick Drew Mac.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember that. That was pretty funny.
She's
I don't
great.
remember exactly what it was, but yeah, it was like, yeah, I'll fight him.
So let's go ahead and talk about Tessa Blanchard. I know Rocco, you got a lot to say about
I
her.
don't know who this is.
You don't know who this is. There was a lot of
I've seen her
controversy.
name, but
Oh,
I don't know.
grab some popcorn, Raven.
Well,
I actually have some in the
we're
kitchen
not going to talk
left
about that.
over from last night.
We're not going to talk about that. I don't want to get into into that whole business with Tessa. We're going to talk about her.
Was
I'm going
she
to
the
focus
female Hulk Hogan? Okay.
where she was the female. Yes.
Oh no.
Yeah, that happened. But outside of that,
Well, but there's a lot to it besides just the woman who she said it to forgave her.
yes,
If we live in a world where nobody can ever make amends for their mistakes, I don't know
that's
what we
very
do.
true. Yeah.
Now, to be
That
fair,
is a
just
very
because
adult thing to say, sir.
yes, but
Unfortunately, I'm pretty juvenile.
I'm playing devil's
Um,
advocate,
Yeah.
and to be
Come on.
fair, just because someone forgives you doesn't mean that you are a changed person.
It doesn't, but you don't know who we're talking about.
I
So
don't. I'm just saying.
that's
That's
true.
why I
You
said I'm
actually
playing.
don't. Yeah.
there's a
That's
lot of
why I said
evidence
I'm
that
playing
she is a
devil.
changed
I
person.
literally said I'm playing devil's advocate.
I wasn't going to talk about it, but I know we're here. But I think she's a changed person. I'm willing to give her a chance. I think I mean the things that she said were very very awful, but at the same time she's not
But
Hulk
also,
Hogan.
we don't know for sure what she
She's not
said.
Hulk Hogan because Hulk Hogan gave no
It's
fucks.
all of that is all just hints and allegations, man. It's all rumor and
True.
innuendo.
That's true.
Nobody ever
But
substantiated it.
let's talk about her in-ring career because she's a damn good worker. And I'll give her that. Um, she
Maybe the best alive.
she had one of the longest knockout reigns in TNA history as a knockout women's champion.
I vaguely remember this
Um,
whole thing.
I will say that when I saw her win the TNA championship, and that's actually kind of around the time when the allegations kind of ruined her.
Yeah, the men's title.
He actually was the men's TNA champion. I had never
Yes.
had before.
Yeah.
And it's not a deal where she's like China, where she's the same size as a lot of the dudes. Like
She's a
No,
here's a
she's just
here's a
that
picture.
fucking good.
she would have very
No, I think
credible
I remember
matches against
seeing.
dudes too. Like that was
Yeah,
always the thing that I
yeah,
thought was
okay.
I've
really
seen her
impressive.
before.
I saw her
Yeah,
recently, and you told me very briefly about it.
yeah,
Yeah.
you've seen her
Okay.
before. But I mean, she's a damn good worker, man. And I know people will never people just act like people never change. I mean, we've all been different people outside and done different things. But
That is very
um
true.
she's a very technical wrestler at that. I think that I thought it was really cool to see her be the men's TNA champion. That was kind of different. That was something very different. It was almost a parallel to
Matches
like
were
It
really
was, yeah.
good,
her
man. The
matches
way
were
that she would,
super
I
good.
mean, she would just like
Um,
absorb such a beating in those matches. I mean, it was
yeah. I mean, and
very
she made a
physical.
case for her to be in the men's division, and she was whooping ass, man.
Yeah,
Um,
interesting upbringing. I mean, she's obviously the daughter of Tully Blanchard, who
yep,
she was
daughter of
not
Polly Blanchard.
raised by. She was primarily raised by um, uh, uh, Magnum TA of all people.
IMTI, yeah,
One of those
yeah,
wild, incestuous kind of wrestling things that happens. Not literally incestuous, but just
yeah.
like I was
Couple
a
more
him.
I want to talk about before we wrap up the show. I don't know if you guys have ever watched any of her matches. I've had the chance to meet her a few times and I've seen her work in person. I love Deanna Purrazzo.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah,
she's currently
underrated.
yeah, she's currently in AEW, and but I have not seen a lot of her work, really any of her work, because I don't only watch AEW. But I
Yeah,
know her for her TNA work, and she's fucking amazing. She's great.
yeah.
Mhm.
Um, she put on a lot of really great. She's a technical wrestler. A lot of really great matches in TNA. She started her career in WWE. I don't think a lot of people realize that. Um, I don't think they did a lot of good things with her in WWE. But she really shined in TNA. Have any of you guys catched what she's been doing in AEW recently? Has she been doing pretty good there? I don't watch.
Oh,
No,
that's
it's.
great. I
I've been
haven't.
having a hard time actually being able to watch AEW lately.
I didn't
Okay,
even know that she
fair.
was on. The last time I saw her,
Yeah.
she turned up on an NWA pay-per-view. I think maybe the last one Nick
Oh
Aldis did.
wow. Okay.
Yeah, and she came
Oh
out
shit.
in a mask and attacked somebody. I forget who. And I actually thought it was Tessa, and I marked out so hard.
Yeah.
Uh, and then she took off the mask, and I still thought it was Tessa for a second.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, she's great.
So we gotta talk about who a lot of people consider um is the one that really is the star of the TNA division. Like I said, that's Gail Kim.
Yeah.
Um, Gail Kim was the one that actually created the help create the Knockouts
She had
division.
a lot to do with it.
Actual.
Yeah,
Great
a lot to do with
matches
it.
with Tessa.
Yeah.
Really great physical matches with Awesome Kong that are like,
Oh, dude, Awesome Kong, man.
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, dude.
There's one in particular where
Awesome Kong. What
well,
another
the
great.
spoiler is she got Kong in a roll up was how she beat her. But up until that point, it was all Kong all day, and it was just like it looked like she was going to kill her.
Yeah.
And Kong finally managed to, or Kim managed to roll her up, and it was just like I don't know. There's just something about a lot of when women's wrestling is really good, it just feels somehow credible in a way that a lot of
Yes.
men's wrestling doesn't. It's just like God, these women really look like they're trying to kill each other, you know?
Yeah. You know what's awesome about Awesome Kong? This just circles us right back to the beginning because she was in the show Glow.
She was in glow, yeah.
She was in
Wasn't
Glow.
close.
She
She
was.
was in fucking Glow.
She was.
You know how we
She
did
sure
that?
was.
How great that was. That was
I
great.
want to say the only women's wrestler who was on the show, right? Because there was some Guerreros were in it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think she was really the only
Yeah,
true to life female wrestler on that show
yeah.
was
She was
was
good.
And speaking about TV wrestling shows, uh, Brian, I know the answer from you is no because we've talked about it extensively. But
no, I've not
Rocco,
seen
did you ever
Heels.
watch Heels?
I tried to once. I didn't dig it.
You didn't dig it?
Mm.
Okay.
It's the
Is that
one
the
Um,
thing
only
Josh likes with
show
CM
or
Punk in it.
movie about wrestling I've ever watched that I didn't like have an issue with was The Wrestler with Mickey Rourke.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
I just whenever there's the part of the show where they're like, "Oh no, I'm using kayfabe. That's the language we use," where it starts to get into that. Where it just,
There was a lot of like definitely you could tell
that
they were forcing words,
exposition,
but it's one of those.
it just annoys me, man. I can't dig it.
Yeah, no, I completely understand that. But I pushed through because I wanted to see what it was. And some of the shit that they do with the characters is fantastic. But since we're specifically talking about women wrestlers, they've got this character that literally in the first episode, Crystal Tyler, she starts off as just kind of like she's the valet that comes out with a spade. And because the show it got canceled, so there is an abrupt end, but it still is the
Uh,
end. By the time that the series ends, she's the champion. She is like she has
oh,
the men's belt because there was this
Hell
whole
yeah.
fluke and she has to go and it basically ends up like saving the show, but because the way they do it, she's now the men's champion. Everyone's like, dude, this girl's the wins
yeah,
champion. And it's kind of a great moment. It's one of those moments it's like I climbed a ladder and got a belt off of a thing once and that hit home to me. And I know that's not something that would hit home to everybody, but I don't know. For me, I felt like that was a great moment in the show when they just kind of like, yeah, she's the champion now. Everybody applause. And then the whole rest of the ending of that show is absolutely terrible and sad. But she's another great women's character in fictional wrestling,
And
if you will.
it's the only
Crystal Tyler.
thing that CM Punk is in that Josh likes to watch. So
Yeah, Ricky Rabies.
there's that. Well, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and cut it here.
Oh,
We're,
can I give one more shout out to something that always
yes,
made me
please.
laugh?
Yes.
They weren't the greatest wrestlers, but the Iconics.
you know
Oh
what? I
yeah.
get that the Iconics were very good. I really
Yeah.
like the Iconics. Talk
Fucking
about being a real
Yeah, the
casualty
Iconics.
time they were there, you know,
yes.
because I
Uh
really feel like Vince didn't get it. So
I so in my regular job every Wednesday is warehouse inventory day where I take a whole section of the warehouse and I just count it. And I spend a lot of Wednesdays by myself because of this. And I'll
Yeah.
catch myself going, "Hi, Kyla," just because brain rot. And I still miss that. Um, just how crazy that was. The Iconics was an absolutely crazy part of wrestling that I will miss.
they were really funny, and
They
I
Well, I
thought
were.
mean,
they
they're
were
in
great.
TNA
I
right now.
didn't have
They're
any
in
issue
TNA
with
right
them.
now. They're still
Wait,
there. They're in
huh?
TNA.
Oh, are they? I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
I thought they
The inspiration.
retired.
No, dude, they're back. They're the
Oh
inspiration.
shit.
Well, see, we need to be watching TNA, Josh.
DNA.
Well,
Damn, Rocco.
maybe you should not don't pay as much to wrestling as you think you do.
There's so much,
Uh,
so much wrestling all the time.
all
One
right.
last thing I would like to say, I'd like to give a shout out
Yes.
to my friend Freya the Slayer.
Hmm.
He is number
Yes.
194 on the Pro Wrestling Illustrated top
Hey.
200 list, I guess. I don't know if it's female wrestlers or just wrestlers in general, but 194. Find yourself a copy of Pro Wrestling Illustrated. It still exists. And Freya the Slayer is in it.
Yes, as long as David Meltzer still has a skeleton.
No, no, that's Pro Wrestling
Oh, that's right. That's the
Observer.
other one. That's the other
No,
Yeah.
one.
no.
But,
And
yeah.
Bill Apter is the guy who does Pro Wrestling Illustrated. That's the
Yeah.
one where they kind of act
We're
like
gonna
it's.
have our own top 100. Fuck PWI.
All right.
Wow, that's some bold words.
What does
We can do
PWI
that.
know?
Yeah, if you want, sure.
I feel like they draw those balls out of the thing like they're doing right now for John Cena's last match tournament, and that's who gets on there. I've always wondered. Just sidebar conversation, real fast. How do the, like? How do I'm a man that doesn't like numbered rankings ever on anything because like what's a
Okay.
six? What's the difference between 6, 7 anyway? See what I did there? So,
Oh wow, Brian.
um,
Fuck.
but outside of that, what really is like how do you like to do 200 or 500? How do you go like okay, and this person is 462? Like how do you how? I don't understand that. Anyway, that's a whole other conversation. I
I
think it's
mean,
weird.
it's a big ranking that comes out every
I think
year.
it's weird though. I feel like some of those are on random select, and they're like,
I
all right,
think
now
it
we have
mainly
to stop.
exists to get people in the indies on a list, to be honest with
Yeah,
you.
True.
I've
So it's a
never been on
participation
it, so
award.
I mean, they
I'm
got to
not
be
going to,
right
I
about
don't think
something.
so. It's just a way that they can get a little bit of attention, and that can be
Sure,
career making,
that's good though.
you know? I mean,
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
I don't think I've ever read any of those lists. I feel like you'd have to be real hardcore to read those lists.
It's not
or maybe
something
those
that
lists
ever
are
meant anything
maybe
for
those
me
lists
until I started knowing wrestlers. You know what I
maybe
mean?
those
Yes,
Like,
lists are more for the wrestlers and not for us.
it
well,
absolutely is.
it's
Not
a
really for me.
it
I don't
is
think I'm
something
gonna
that makes people check people out.
I don't think I'm
Mhm.
running. I don't think I've never once ran to the 500 and been like, all right, I have to see who's on the. I don't do that because the thing about it is like other news sources already tell you anyway, right?
Yeah.
But they don't tell you like the all 500 of them usually. So I'm not unless I'm specifically like going to grab a copy of that. I'm not gonna know who number 362 is. You know what I mean? Like
Well, it's only
I
200
don't know.
now.
Well, they have the 500 too. They have a PWI
Oh yeah.
500.
Okay.
So I mean, there's that. But outside of that, I've always just been like, how do you determine who like number 322 is? I don't know. It's weird to me. But anyway,
There's a lot of dudes out there.
we definitely can't forget about. I know we're gonna have. I'm sure we'll have a part two to this conversation because we did not mention a whole lot of independent pro wrestling, women in wrestling either, and I'm sure we'll definitely get on that at some point. There's just
Oh
so
yeah.
much here to talk about in this that we'll definitely be coming back to doing a part two of this. But we're gonna go ahead and close it there for sure. Thanks to everybody for listening to. I believe this is episode 29 of A Bunch of Marks. And for those who don't know, next episode, our second episode of November, Raven gets a brand new 6 match list. She's going to be going through the
I'm
gamut.
excited for this because I had specific requests.
Yes,
You
Not
did.
requests for
you're not
specific matches,
you're not getting all that you want though.
but
Yeah, you're not getting everything from the list, but it
You can't get
definitely helps
everything
us
you want.
form.
But
Because if
I
we
will
give you
tell you,
everything that you expected, then you're going to be like, oh, I know what this
dude,
is.
I already forgot what my list was. That's why I
Don't
like
worry, we got you taken
immediately
care of.
wrote
we
it
got you.
down.
We got you. We'll get you. We'll get you. So that'll be our next episode. Don't forget, guys, I'm going to keep advertising this. We will be at Square Circle Expo next year. Square Circle
Yes.
Expo 6. Am I right on that? SCX
Yes.
6.
6.
God, would be so they would be so mad at me if I got that wrong. Square Circle Expo 6, which is going to be at the end of March. It'll be the 27th and the 28th of March. So make your plans now. You can come and meet all of us. We'll have our own booth. We'll be
Yes.
recording some bits and some sound bites while we're there. We'll put those together probably in a episode of some kind. But if you happen to be there, stop by our booth, and we're probably gonna have Adolfo and Ed, either one or if not both of them, on our show to hype that up as we get closer to that. I always get excited every year for those announcements. Who's going to be there? Um, I think currently right now, I'm trying to pull this up to do some just promotion for them, but they just announced Shotzi's going to be there.
Oh, that's cool.
You've got Tay Mello from AEW.
Oh yeah.
Just a few of the female wrestlers that are going to be in attendance. Soraya is going to be there. She's great. I actually met her back in September. Got to talk with her and got to sign a copy of her book. She was just a sweetheart. Such a sweetheart to talk to and meet. And then of course on the male side, you've got the big show's going to be there. Eddie Kingston, which is pretty cool. Dennis Rodman, yeah, I'm sure that there are going to be a lot of Chicago Bulls fans will be there just for that reason.
Dude, I bet.
Kevin Nash will be there. The list goes on and on. I think that's that's all they've announced so far from what I see on my list anyway.
You got a ways.
But no, I'm sorry. Sammy Guevara, Bandito will be there. Brody King, and that is the current list right now. As of
Man, I've got a bone to pick with Brody King.
But we'll be there as well, so you can come hang out with us, and we'll be doing a vlog that will get posted on our YouTube channel, and I'm sure we'll be promoting the shit out of this more and more as we get closer to March. But thanks so much for listening to this episode, no matter where you've listened to it at, whether it's on Spotify, Good Pods. Thanks again, by the way, for helping us on Good Pods be a top 5 pro wrestling podcast as well. And other than that, we'll see you guys next time later this month. Later, guys. See ya.
Later on, then.
Why are you so
being weird?
Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye.
All right.